Good, happy Tuesday evening, October 26th, 2021. I'm Riley King. Welcome to this Tuesday evening edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news and weather information to get to this Tuesday evening, so let's get started with your Tuesday evening edition of the Riley King Newscast on the Riley King Network. I'm Riley King, and let's begin right now. First up, Moderna says low dose of vaccine safe, effective in children 6 to 11. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC News.
Why should people come to PSU for social work? It's affordable, it's
New shot of hope for children in this pandemic. Moderna announcing the results of their latest study, finding that it was safe and effective in children 6 to 11 years old. The company says their child vaccine is a half dose of the adult vaccine administered in 2 shots 28 days apart. Tomorrow, an FDA advisory panel will review Pfizer's vaccine for children 5 to 11 years old. It could clear the FDA and the CDC by the first week of November. And when it does, the Biden administration says there will be millions of doses ready to go. Here's ABC's Ariel Resha.
Just one day before an FDA panel is set to review and rule on Pfizer's vaccine for 5 to 11-year-olds, promising news tonight on Moderna's vaccine in younger children. The company reporting a strong immune response in kids 6 to 11.
Oh, it doesn't hurt at all.
At just 1/2 the adult dose, 2 shots given 28 days apart produced 1.5 times the antibodies seen in young adults. And like Pfizer, Moderna says its vaccine was safe in the younger group with mild side effects like headache, sore arm, fever, and fatigue.
As pediatricians who care for these kids, we want to find a solution, and it is a miracle that we potentially have one.
28 million children could be eligible for a Pfizer shot as early as Thursday, November 4th, after an expected green light from the FDA and CDC. The Pfizer vaccine found to be nearly 91% effective in 5 to 11-year-olds. Pediatrician Amanda Dropic enrolled all 4 of her children in the Pfizer trial.
If it's something that I can prevent with a vaccine that's both safe and effective, that's my job, to protect my kids and other people's kids to the best of my ability.
11-year-old Eli and 9-year-old Lila say they'll encourage their friends to get vaccinated.
They should definitely get vaccinated, and it really doesn't hurt, and it's definitely worth it, even if you do get a few side effects.
Just as soon as the vaccine is authorized for 5 to 11-year-olds,
1, 2, 3.
the White House says millions of doses will ship out, so they are ready at doctors' offices, children's hospitals, pharmacies, and clinics.
For a lot of parents, they don't get time off work, so if you want an appointment that works for you, I don't think it's too soon to call up and get in line.
Ariel Resha joins us now. And Ariel, certainly all eyes are on tomorrow's FDA panel meeting on the Pfizer vaccine for 5 to 11 years old. Walk us through the next steps here.
Well, Lindsay, that FDA panel is expected to make its decision by the end of tomorrow. And if the FDA gives the green light, then the CDC could sign off by next Wednesday, which means we could see some of those younger children get their shots in their arms by the end of next week. Lindsay?
Ariel, thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to...
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Massive storm hits country from coast to coast. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC News.
To the dangerous storm coast to coast, and a possible nor'easter brewing. More than 70 million Americans on alert. A massive storm system with an extreme atmospheric river slamming the Oregon coast. Historic rain for areas stricken by drought and wildfires. A powerful waterfall there in Plumas County, California. And in the Midwest, more severe storms after at least 13 reported tornadoes, this one near Kansas City. And tonight, New Jersey is already declaring a state of emergency ahead of that possible nor'easter. Rob times it all out in just a moment, but first, ABC's Will Carr in California.
Tonight, powerful winds and historic rainfall lashing the west coast. A potent atmospheric river slamming the region for more than 24 hours, sending mud, trees, and boulders crashing down into this California highway. This big rig overturning on the Richmond-San Rafael Bridge. Off the Washington coast, the strongest storm on record. East of Seattle, 2 people killed Sunday when a tree struck their car. Back in California, outside Sacramento, John Sargettis grateful his son is alive. This tree crashing into his son's car just minutes before he was set to go to work.
I can't think. What would have happened if he was walking up that pathway?
Near the San Francisco airport, Trevor Steins' neighborhood underwater.
My whole garage is up to my kneecaps. Everything is floating around.
In Chicago, winds from a separate system whipping the waters of Lake Michigan, waves over 12 feet.
Look at this strong tornado.
That storm already dropping more than a dozen reported tornadoes in the heartland over the weekend. One twister northeast of Kansas City tearing apart John and Joellen Duncan's home.
We have a basement, but there wasn't time. Once you see the tornado, there's not time to run to the basement. If we'd have tried, we'd have probably been killed.
Millions along the East Coast now in the storm's path, bracing for a potential nor'easter.
As that storm system moves east, we've heard a chorus of chainsaws here today. This is a massive cleanup operation going on all across this area. And all of that rain did put a dent into the potential for more wildfires and into the drought. But here in California, we've had wildfires into December in recent years. So we still have a long way to go. Lindsay.
Not out of the woods just yet. Will, thanks so much. And now let's get right to ABC senior meteorologist Rob Marciano tracking it all for us. And Rob, time out this threat for us.
Well, it's beginning to move east, and it's already set records in terms of the strength in the ocean and the rainfall that we've seen in California. The center of it, you can see it here. It's going into British Columbia, but the moisture plume that's done all that damage is heading into Southern California. Winter storm warnings posted for the Sierras and windy conditions with this thing. The energy is going to jump into the plains tomorrow, and we'll see another round of severe weather from Nebraska deep into Texas. Tornadoes possible. And here in the east, we're dealing with the energy from last week's western storm in the form of severe weather in the Carolinas. And now flood watches for the big cities along I-95 are going to be a heavy rain event tomorrow morning, possible flooding around New York City, and then lingering wind and rain for New England into midweek. Lindsay?
Rob, we know you'll be tracking it for us. Thanks so much.
Hi, everyone.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Police respond to reports of shots fired at Idaho Mall. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC News.
Feel like you're being watched? Hackers can see what you send over Wi-Fi or steal what's on your devices.
Breaking news out of Idaho, a shooting at a mall, and it has been deadly. Police reporting that multiple people were injured, including a police officer. We've now learned at least 2 victims have died. This was the scene outside the Boise Town Square Mall this afternoon. Police responding to reports of shots fired. Inside, mall security sending out alerts warning of an active shooter. A caller to 911 reporting a suspect wearing dark clothes. Investigators going carefully through the scene. Mall employees and shoppers huddling together outside. Police now say they believe it was a single shooter and that one person is in custody. There's no ongoing threat to the public. ABC's Kana Whitworth leads us off.
Tonight, a deadly shooting sending shoppers running for their lives inside this Idaho mall.
For the security officers.
Police saying tonight that 2 people were killed and multiple injured inside the Boise Town Square, the city's largest shopping mall. Officers and federal agents swarming the scene.
Primary suspect they ran by the Dave & Buster's wearing dark clothes, also had all black and wearing a backpack.
One store worker telling us mall security alerted her and other employees to the shooting. She says they and about a dozen customers then rushed to the back room to hide from the gunman.
We went to the pretzel stand to get some pretzels, and all of a sudden we heard gunshots.
Officers methodically going store by store, searching for victims. And late today, authorities confirming it was a police officer that was wounded in the shootout with the suspect. The suspect now in custody.
I cannot stress enough how traumatic this event is for the community at large, as well as for those that were witnesses or the families of those involved are involved themselves.
And Lindsay, this investigation is just beginning. Police are combing through two separate crime scenes. Of course, the one inside the mall and one about a block away. And at this point, they have no word on a motive. Lindsay?
Kana, thanks so much.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And we are going to switch gears now, and let's go into weather. And here's a look at your weather tonight across the United States. Boston is 50 degrees. New York City, 55 degrees. Washington, D.C., 50 degrees. Atlanta, 43 degrees. Jacksonville, Florida, 56 degrees. Tampa Bay, Florida, 64 degrees. And Miami, Florida, 72 degrees. Dallas, 63 degrees. Las Vegas, 53 degrees. Phoenix, 53 degrees. Los Angeles, 52 degrees. And San Francisco, 56 degrees. That is a look at the weather across the United States for this Tuesday evening. And that does it for this Tuesday evening edition of the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. Thank you for tuning in and watching. Have a great rest of your evening. See you back here tomorrow for another newscast. Good night and goodbye.